Who the fuck you go to the show with last night?
I didn't go to the show last night.
You ain't got to lie. 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 You ain't got to lie.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the Unified Premier League Week 1 Vandal Conference. I'm Sepulins, joined here by the handsome and wonderful Jag to bring you one of quite a few weeks that we've got in store. But let's not worry about the rest of them. Let's worry about what's going on right here, right now. Jag, tell us what we've got in store for the rest of tonight.
It's the start of the fall season. We had a great summer split, but got to put that away. It's in the past. We can't look towards the future either. Like you just said, we're going to be living right here in the present. But what we do have is a champion in our midst. It's Converse Esports. They were able to dethrone UC Davis in the summer split, which was pretty impressive considering that UC Davis was undefeated going into that championship match, and they were also the spring split champions. So Converse now, the target is on their back. But the most interesting thing about this Converse lineup is although they are keeping 3 of the players from that same roster, they've got 2 new players coming into the mix, Eric and Lucas. And I think the biggest thing is Rexo is no longer in that lineup, and Rexo was a name that you and I were saying quite a lot during that finale.
Absolutely. Rexo was a single-handed force to be reckoned with, an absolute Hercules of the team. But now, like you said, out of the roster, 2 brand new players coming in. And Converse Esports, they get kind of a weird startup, right? They're not only the first game, but they're going up against a brand new team here at UPL that's going to be Zenigma Alpha. They're going to be a new organization joining for both Valorant and League of Legends. And this is kind of their debut with UPL, if you will. But to make your debut against reigning champions, I mean, that's going to be a rude awakening, I think.
Yeah, we really don't know that much about Zenigma going into this. They did compete in a few tournaments here and there, the biggest one being Beyond DreamHack, but they didn't make it that far. They won their first game, then lost the next 2 to be eliminated. So we don't really have that much of a sample size on them. But I remember this was the same scenario that you and I saw back during the summer split. UC Davis against a new team, UC Davis coming out on top, just showing everyone that they are still at the top of that mountain. But here's Zenigma. They might have a little bit of a shot here because that roster that from Converse is a little bit different this time around.
Absolutely. Converse, they might not be as smooth sailing as we've saw and gotten so used to toward the end of the summer split. Jumping in, everybody's at 0-0. This is the most level playing field that anybody's going to be on for the entirety of the season. Not only that, but we've got a bunch of changes in the game as well. Both Sky and Jet have been nerfed. Both of them rather aggressively. So I think that's really going to make an impact here. But Jag, you've talked about this already. You don't think these nerfs are really going to be enough to shake up this meta, right?
I mean, we saw a lot of Jet, you and I, when we were casting yesterday. We didn't see any KO at all. We didn't really see any Sky either, but also the maps might have not been as great for Sky. So it's only time will tell. You and I both agreed yesterday that just these teams might not want to swap anything up. Sure, these agents might be a bit weaker going into this, but why would you go away from what you've been practicing for so long? There just isn't enough time to swap everything just yet. I'm sure as the weeks go on, we will be seeing some new things. Another new thing, though, is Fracture. That map is in the map pool, but we're going to pull up that map ban right now to show you what we're going to be looking at tonight. And unfortunately, Fracture is not going to be one of the maps chosen. I can't say I'm too surprised because I feel like it's brand new. And again, it's the same thing where you don't really want to choose something that you're not as familiar with, but it's going to be Icebox and Ascent guaranteed, and then Bind would be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, Bind being the tiebreaker, I almost wish that we'd make it that far because I have not seen Bind in a long time, but I love this map pool, kind of this graphic that we have here. It really shows us the maps that are going to be making an appearance, Icebox, Ascent, and Bind in that order. So we are going to be keeping an eye out on Icebox, the first map. Now, Jag, we talked about this earlier, in recent broadcasts as well, that you really should be playing for the side you start on, right? So these teams, one of them gets to pick a side starting in map 1. Do you think that kind of gives them a mental step up in the game, kind of a leg up moving forward if they can create a comp for the half they want to be playing on?
Well, it's interesting because Zenigma, they did have side choice in this first map because this was the pick of Converse, and they decided to go on attack. So that makes me think they have a very specific strategy in mind that really is attack-oriented. On this map, you see a lot of Viper instead of Astra, so maybe they're going to try to swap things up there and run something different with a controller. I'm not really sure, but they must have something, in their back pocket to want to be on attack first here.
Absolutely. I think you've said it great there. They've got to have something in their back pocket. Is it going to be something as simple as just a double duelist comp? We've seen that quite a few times coming forward, and that's something that teams have really been showing a liking for. Of course, that double duelist is going to work better on the offense, but if one of your duelists is kind of a Reyna type, she works well on offense and defense. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Jet, like you talked about already. The nerfs came through, but these pros, these top dogs, they love her and they're sticking with her. I really expect to see a Jet on both sides here moving into Icebox.
Yeah, I do too. And I think Reyna would probably be the optimal second duelist if you do
I
go for
agree.
that second duelist setup. One thing I want to throw into the mix, which I don't think is going to happen, but would be pretty cool if it did, is a Yoru. Yoru, I would say, is the worst rated duelist currently in the game. And I'd so love to see some changes to make him a little bit more in the meta. But I feel like if there's any map you're going to see him on, it might be this one, especially on that B site. Really, he's great at flanking, he's great at causing distractions, and when you have an open environment like that, it's great. Probably wouldn't be as good on A point because it's so much more claustrophobic, but
Right.
these teams, if they're coming out with some interesting strategies out of the gate, that might be something that we see in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of claustrophobic, perhaps there's a somewhat chance we see Raze here. That's a huge part of the reason I love Bind, because I am a Raze player. I love those claustrophobic lineups and those possibilities to get the kills. That A site on Icebox does present, so maybe we see a Raze coming into that second duelist comp. And of course, we're hypothesizing here. There may be no double duelists at all from these teams, but I really wouldn't be surprised to see it. And I've got to say, Yoru, while I do think he's the worst agent in the game, I have seen a lot of TikToks recently that have changed my mind a little bit. I've seen some top dogs really kind of put their money where their mouth is with Yoru, and I'm curious if anybody here through UPL, and this week or in the following, is going to be having Yoru make an appearance.
And I think what's so interesting about Yoru is I feel like he's kind of similar to what Reyna once was at one point, where I think his basement is just so low that a lot of players aren't able to utilize his kit correctly. But then when you have those people that really spend a lot of time trying to play him, their ceiling can be so ginormously high. His abilities are really good, especially his fake out. I feel like that is actually one of the best abilities in the game, to create fake footsteps and then, just get everyone very much on the edge of their seat trying to figure out, hey, like, is this an ability? Is there actually someone running at us? You never know with that, but I agree. I don't think we're going to be seeing a Euro in our midst. One thing to talk about, though, is the possibility of a KO. Now, I think KO is much better on Breeze and Ascent than he is on Icebox, but with those buffs, he could be taking the place of a Sky. Sky, her flash is a little bit weaker. His flash is a little bit stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely some changes coming through on that KO as well. And I've got to say, I was just getting a little bit of information here from the back line that unfortunately, Zenigma starting off a little bit rough. They have to forfeit the first map, kind of. They have to use a substitute to a little bit. So we're going to have to be seeing, moving into the next map, they're going to have to start 0-1. So there is a chance that we have just one map tonight, depending if Converse brings this out as aggressively as they can. I should note that we are still starting on Icebox, but we will be starting in a 1-0 fashion in favor of Converse Esports.
Yeah, so this series could be one and done. It looks like there's going to be no buy no matter what, which I know makes you really sad because you were just talking about how you want to see it. Tears are going
Devastated
down your face as we talk about it. So Sense is also not guaranteed. And I was saying that earlier on, we're going to get it. Honestly, we might not. Icebox is kind of a cool map, though. It is one that we're seeing a lot more, I would say, in these competitive settings. Teams have really started to figure out how to play it, and it is different than the standard meta that I would see you'd say on Bind or Ascent. So we're definitely going to see some different comps, as you and I have been talking about. We're still waiting for that sub to get into the lobby. They should be here any moment, but I mean, that's unfortunate for Zenigma, and I don't want to do a parallel to the last season in the summer split, but this was a very similar scenario where we had a team going up against UC Davis. They were brand new. They did actually get to play the first map, then they had to forfeit the second map. So a little similar, also a little bit different, but we might only be seeing one map tonight to start off the season.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, that sounds kind of crazy, but at the same time, that's something that feels like a genuine possibility. It is Converse Esports. Any other team, I would be thinking, oh, you could probably take a map on them, force that map, technical map 3. But Converse Esports, they have put many a team in their place with and without a one map lead. So I would not be surprised to see them just powerhouse steamroll through this map on Icebox. But I love, we're getting kind of that sudden death matchup, if you will, kind of that all or nothing on the table. And I'm glad that it is Icebox. That really does feel like a map that these players everyone can bring their 130% on.
It does really feel like an epic stage, honestly. Maybe it gets a little bit darker because you're kind of in the Arctic. There's snow all around you. I think it's got that big fight feel environment for a map, or at least as best as you can, really. Like Breeze, like, oh, it's in the sun. Like, that's not where you're going to finish off a series. I know at least that's not where you'd ever want to go for a series, as I know you are a big no-no man when it comes to Breeze as a map. But
that's the truth.
That was banned away quite a little bit. So, we've got a little bit more time to talk about this. I mean, do you expect to see Fracture at all during the season?
I hope so. I really do. I think it's an interesting map. I think it calls for a lot of unique comps and rotations, of course, because, you can cut through the middle of the map in the blink of an eye. But I do want to see what the teams bring out. The pros in particular, at least those that I've had the chance to talk to, don't really like it that much, and that might just be kind of what happened with Icebox as well. People hated Icebox when it first made an appearance, and now I feel we see it in every comp that we end up running, in every kind of map pool that makes an appearance. So maybe we do see Icebox, or the Icebox effect rather, happening with Fracture. I hope so, but really I don't know if it's guaranteed.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like Fracture, it just feels so different. I feel like they try to do something similar of Haven, where, Haven has 3 points. Fracture, the sides that you start on aren't the same. You can either start in the middle or on one side or the other, depending on, attack or defense. So it is very unique. And I think because of that, I agree, the Icebox effect could come into fruition. Honestly, I have no idea what you'd play on that map as a composition right now. I'm trying to figure it out in my head. Maybe an Astra, just because she's so good at being everywhere at once. So I feel like that might be a must pick. I feel like Sova would be really good because you can need that information, because there are a lot of corners, nooks, and crannies you can hide in on that map. There is also, something that we don't really see elsewhere, which is kind of, you can go below into a basement sort of area, but we can talk about that at another time, because we are getting into Icebox now. This Agent Select is going to be coming through, and I'm going to be expecting some Vipers to be shown in just a few moments.
Couldn't agree more, my friend. I think you hit the nail right on the head. Viper probably going to be making an appearance, at least you'd suspect so. I feel like she's been kind of on the up and up, so to speak, moving forward. She got nerfed. People kind of hated her for a little while, but really she has been making an appearance. And yeah, I already know which side is Converse simply because of Blitz and Boom. I recognize those names too. Absolute powerhouses. And other than that, Sova, almost that girl boss comp, but instead they're going to have Wildfire on the Sova. And looks like we're going to possibly see a mirror matchup here, depending on what happens on the side of Zenigma.
It looks like it's almost going to be a mirror matchup. The only difference is going to be the Sage versus the Killjoy if this composition is fully locked in. So we talked about Double Duelist is going to come out. Like we expected, the Viper going to be playing that controller role. But on the side of the attackers, I think this makes a lot of sense. And I mean, we've seen this strategy on Icebox. You and I got to witness it last night. You want this Sage to basically cut off any area for defenders to come into.
Select your agent.
Ball is so strong, so they're going to run in and just try to force that composition mostly on B. It's not nearly as effective on A because, again, it's such tight quarters that you can't really maneuver in.
Yeah, absolutely. Maneuverability is what this is going to be all about. Both the teams kind of rocking. Like you said, there's Sage walls, there's Viper walls. There's a lot of disruption in the area to make sure the enemy team doesn't have kind of that accessibility they need to succeed. That we are looking at a complete and total mirror matchup. Double Duelist on both sides. We were both right. We got the Jet and the Reyna making an appearance. The Sova, oh, I'm sorry, this is not a mirror matchup. I mixed up Killjoy and Sage. There is going to be that 4v4 with the 1-1, but the double duelist on both sides, that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on, is which one of these duelists really runs away with this series.
And I feel like, honestly, the Reyna becomes the hard carry in this composition. I feel like Reyna is just in a better state right now than Jet is. Jet, sure, still has a lot of use and a lot of utility. Her Cloud Smokes reduced by 1 still are pretty dang good. It's really just her ultimate. It is weaker. She cannot right-click and get another set of knives. It has to be the left-click kill to get the reset. So the way you use that alternate fire is going to be very different, and I think it forces just to play a little bit more safe than they usually are used to in the past.
Absolutely. And yeah, as somebody who likes to play Jet just for the giggles, I'm pretty upset about that. But for the pro play, I can definitely see why they'd want that. They want to utilize those knives more at long range, like the pros already love to do. So we're going to have to be seeing if that makes a difference for either of these Jet players here. Ricky, I do remember Ricky as well, a pretty disgusting Jet player if my memory serves, so I definitely suspect to see some pretty wild plays coming out, but it's going to be Zenigma on the offense first, trying to take presence of pain, the wall up, quick rotation back towards B, the damage onto Ricky already down to 13, the Viper wall coming through, separating that line of sight, trying to find that first elimination. Zenigma, they're coming in hot, they're using every cooldown they've got available.
And that's exactly what you want to do. This is how you run this Sage comp. You run in, you take space, and then you force the defenders back. And it is going to be a trade as the Reyna kind of giving themselves away by trying to get that Solar, but the spike is planted.
Yeah, the spike has been planted. That's going to be huge for the second round. Win or lose, you get those additional credits now, especially if you lose. That's huge that you planted the spike because it keeps you alive. It keeps you in the swing of things. Currently tied up 4-4. A little bit more damage taken on the side of Converse. Here comes Takeo. Going to be able to pick up 1, but not quite 2. Blitz goes for the double trade. Lucas getting cheeky with the defuse. Already halfway there. Might be able to do the full thing, but no! Guzman will be able to find that kill, and it looks like Zenigma going to take round 1 on Converse.
And that was a round that looked so in favor of Zenigma, and then all of a sudden Converse able to come back, get 4 kills when all is said and done. It's not a round win, but it's far from farthest from Zenigma. It's good momentum for Converse going into this. They are going to give up this round unless they can have a really thrifty showing here. But Zenigma, their economy isn't super great after a round win like that, and they're kind of in this weird state where they're going to go for the buy here, but they're also forcing a Guardian as well as a Phantom.
Yeah, definitely. This is a weird comp. I don't even want to call it a Frankenstein comp. I just want to call this an insane risk that they're really taking here. Evan has that Phantom online. Like you said, there's a Guardian as well. They've got to win this round because they're basically all at 0 in terms of economy right now. So this has to be a round win.
Yeah, early on it is so important. Ricky's able to take out their Viper Guzman off the field. I think they should be able to grab the Guardian, but do you even want the Guardian versus the Spectre? It's also, I mean, I would say on A, sure, because of, you know, the sight line of it, but it is a risk, and it's gonna be, it's only one shot at a time, so it's really not great.
Yeah, and we talked about last round that they played this super well in the terms of that Sage comp where they just dove in and used every ability off cooldown, but now we see Zenigma going for a slower rotation, moving a little bit less aggressively, finding the kills as they fall into their hands, able to find a second spike plant in a row. So already some small wins in favor of Zenigma. Evan does pick up a kill onto Wildfire. I feel like you've got to get at least one more to make that buy worth it, and they were able to do just that. Boom falls as well. Ricky, last one standing, taken out. Zenigma 2 rounds in a row.
2 rounds in a row indeed. Not surprising, but this one was much more efficient, only losing 1 along the way. Like you said, their economy wasn't going to be great if they lost that. It's okay enough to buy here, but it is going to be better for Converse. They should go for the full buy. Some light armor on their side, but they will have a few better weapons. ARs, all ARs versus Spectre should be in their advantage. And really quickly there, I mean, that's how you want to execute the comp on it. It's not as clean because you have to push so much farther into the site to get the wall positioning that you want, but when you have a weapon advantage like that, Sigma's going to take space. Here, they cannot do that, though.
Yeah, and space is quite obviously what this game is going to be all about, so we need to see what's going to be happening here in terms, I talked about earlier, the smokes, the walls are great to utilize and kind of funnel the opposing team. Nobody's really been able to utilize them quite yet. We saw a Viper wall in round 1 from the side of Zenigma, but other than that, not a lot of util coming out. Now, a Leer from Lucas going to open up a little bit of space, a bit of a bait even, as Lucas just tucks tail and runs away from the engagement. Owl Drone now out from M, looking for some opportunities, or just any information gets taken out of the sky quick. Takeo is going to get aggressive as well, going up ropes. The damage being done to Ricky. I think that was a shock dart there. M looking for another one. Not able to find it, though. This is going to be another slow round for Zenigma. We're already down to less than a minute.
Yeah, that's the thing. You cannot do the same thing you just did on A. You have to be really smart. You've got to find a default pick if possible, but instead now they've already used their Sage Wall, so they're not going to have that same protection that they're used to if they try to go to B. This is not how you want to do this at all, and they're going to lose the first person.
Yeah, Blitz, great patience, saw the cooldowns come through, knew somebody was turning their corner. Probably a little surprised it was the Jet instead of a Sage, but a kill is a kill nonetheless. Lucas finds one, Takeo does put Blitz down, but Ricky with the double kill, really making it look good for Converse. 5th and final kill going to be found onto M via Lucas's Phantom, and now round 1 in the books for Converse, the round they were expected to win.
Yeah, and you just can't play like that on A. You really have to find a pick if you are going to try to even attempt to take over that site. That time they couldn't get anything, so they're forced to go through mid because they have so little time. They give away their positioning completely. They lose their biggest resource in that competition, which is the Sage Wall. Just, it wasn't what they wanted. They get one pick out of it, and they still can buy here, so they're still in a pretty good position, but if they had rushed on to B, I feel like they would have given themselves a much better chance. That's really where this comp stands out. Regardless of how that goes, their Sage has been putting up quite a performance, already has that Resurrection online.
And the Resurrection, I mean, talk about one of the most effective ultimates in the game, right? You can turn a team fight simply by waking one of your enemies up from that permanent slumber. It's going to be that 2v1 here. I want to see the Resurrection come out early because I think if nobody's paying attention, they're really not going to suspect a Res to be at the ready, making an appearance in round 4 nonetheless. But it looks like they may need a little more than a Resurrection as their Sage is the first one to fall. The 2-for-1 trade in favor of Converse here. Duelists alive on both sides. The Sova missing from Converse, but the numbers certainly in their advantage.
And Converse, look with how they're pushing right now. I mean, they're going to lose one. Can they trade out? Oh, they can't. That aggressive positioning, it's going to cost them.
It's going to cost them a lot here. Lucas, it's going to cost them actually nothing. It's going to cost them $1, and Lucas is going to go beat up the person that took it from him and find it, take it right back. Evan going for the plant. I love this. It's going to get those credits for the next round and to make things a little bit easier for Zenigma if this loss comes through. However, Reyna, what a duelist to carry around. We're going to have to see what Evan can do here up against the reigning champions of Converse.
Oh, Evan completely caught out there, has the Empress, but at this point, I don't think there's any real chance they're going to use it, but Ricky's caught looking the other way.
Oh, 1v1, Reyna v Reyna, and I think they are both at 150 HP. I don't think either of them have taken a lick of damage. Spike's coming to a tick. Evan, hiding in a great location, might be able to catch Lucas out. Gonna go for a possible defuse. Goes to stick the landing, but Evan's right around the corner. This could be a disaster, and it's gonna be Evan with the clutch, able to find the headshot using the Vandals. Zenigma going up 3-1.
It really comes down to Ricky just not looking the right way there. They really should have peeked that together. Instead, they're taking separate angles. That is not the play there if you're Converse. You need to play as a team in that scenario. You know you have the firepower. The odds of getting a collateral are very slim, as long as you're not, playing in a Congo line. So just a little lack of teamwork there really changes things around. Zenigma able to take a 2-round lead once more, but the biggest thing there is Converse can't buy, so this 2-round lead should become 3.
Yeah, definitely expected to become 3. Converse, they're playing a little bit slower paced on Icebox than I really expected. They haven't been able to find their footing quite like they wanted, and Lucas isn't even able to find the next round because they are the first person taken out in a matter of seconds. That couldn't have been more than 5 or 6 seconds before Lucas bit the bullet. That's going to be a really aggressive push from Zenigma. We saw this happen in round 2. It worked out super well. They were able to find that round win, going for the exact same strategy. I love that wall, boxing off a majority of the points. Now Zenigma just has to play for the retake.
Yeah, even getting the Reyna all out, honestly, the Empress, not sure if it was needed by Evenator, but they just really wanted to finish off this round. Able to get the kill there, able to get away, and it should be pretty flawless. Converse actually commit the Blade Storm here, so Ricky trying to find something, but down 2, what can you really do?
Not a fan of that play at all. The Blade Storm coming out did not feel comfortable. It felt like a move of desperation, and Zenigma, they are just tearing it up beyond belief right now, able to put themselves 4-1 in the lead. Jack, I don't know about you, but I think I've found out why they chose offense at the start of this.
Yeah, this is exactly why they chose it, and we talked to our producer about it, and, he was kind of hinting, like, there's a play up here, and there's a reason why they're doing this, and we're seeing it come out completely. The Sage, usually a defensive agent, here, very offensive-oriented, and Zenigma playing their advantage again, knowing that they have the better weaponry, knowing that they can run in, they're going to take that A-site push any day of the week and twice on Wednesdays. But now they're going to go back to the B push because this is where you want to play when you need to play a little bit farther away.
Absolutely. They want to play, like you said, a little bit further, perhaps a little bit slower, as things have not been necessarily in favor of Converse up to this point. Ricky got the scope lined up, waiting for somebody to make an appearance, but you only fire that thing so quickly, and there's about 3 people around that corner, so maybe Ricky finds a 1 trade and then dashes out, playing patient as ever, waiting for someone to make an appearance, but it's a very slow burn push. Ricky might get caught out here. There's going to be 1, misses the shot, has to tuck tail and run. Now it's going to be a Blade Storm from the opposing side. Zenigma bringing that Blade Storm. Oh, but Ricky does find the shot, so 1 Blade Storm traded out for another. Resurrection coming through from Takeo. This is going to be an immediate plant once again. The Hunter's Fury trying to find an opportunity. Guzman, some great jukes here, making sure not to take any damage, but going to be able to pick something up here. The spike plant will come through. M finds Ricky. And a lockdown from Blitz. This feels like a move of desperation once again. Viper's Pit out on the opposing side.
Oh, Viper's Pit's the lockdown being thrown out as well from Converse. They really want to go all in on this. Lockdown is going to come through. Is it going to keep anyone locked up? It looks like it's found 1, but you see the teammates are there, and there's nothing that can be done. It's only Wildfire and their Viper against the world. Now it's only Wildfire. Finds 1. Can they get it done? 3 still left to kill.
Oh, and Wildfire not going to be able to find the kindling to stay alive on that one. Evan picks up that kill, giving Zenigma the 5th round to win. They are 1 round short of guaranteeing at least a tie at halftime.
This composition is just working so efficiently, and now I bet they're going to go right back to A, knowing that the firepower is not going to be there for Converse. Zenigma, they're playing this so tactically, they're playing this so smart, and even with a ringer, they are looking very sharp thus far. Converse, they got to find an answer. I think giving up 6 rounds here wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I mean, if things don't stop spiraling out of control, this could be 11-1.
That would be absurd to see the reigning champions go 11-1 on the first half. That would be mind-boggling. But Jack, I think you're right. Unless Converse can really kind of pull their heads out of the ground and really figure out what they're doing incorrectly, this could just be in favor of Zenigma over and over. Takeo finds that kill onto Lucas. Another one onto Boom. Damage already done. No ultimates available here from Converse to keep the dream alive. Guzman watching that back lineup blitz, the 3rd to fall. Wildfire possibly not far behind, taking a little bit of damage. The Lear around the corner. The Sheriff in a dream, but no engagement quite yet. This feels almost impossible for Converse to turn around.
player standing.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard. Ricky only has 20 health.
20.
There's really nothing that can be done here. Maybe they're able to find a headshot, and then they can get at least one trade. So they're looking to do this flawlessly, build up the Hunter's Fury in the meantime. That's a team ace.
Oh!
We
That's so
don't
cool!
see that. Yeah, we don't see that very often. You and I get very hyped over aces, but we've agreed that team aces honestly could be cooler. Everyone gets one kill from your team.
Yeah.
That is a very cool feat.
Yeah, that is super awesome. Yeah, like Jag just said, for those who may not know, because they're super rare, a team ace is when everybody on the team gets one elimination in a round. So no carries, just clean out there from Zenigma. That's going to be a guaranteed tie at the halftime, and that means they'd have to lose 5 rounds in a row, which I don't know about you, Jag, but that feels very unlikely.
And I feel like right now, Converse, they have to stop stacking A, because maybe this is actually going to be a mid push, so we might see something different. But I was going to say, every time they've gone to B, it looks like this is the one time they don't. But B is really the site that you want to hold out. Here, though, I'm going to eat my words a little, because it looks like they're making the right move on defense.
I once played a game on Icebox, and the opposing team ran it mid every round in a row. The game ended like 13-4, and they just it was very bad. But I'm glad to see none of the teams making that bad of a mistake, considering they're probably at a much higher rank than I normally play this game. Takeo going for the slow engagement toward mid, going to do the wall off on top of boxes. Might be able to catch somebody out. Knows that the killjoy's around the corner, but I don't think they saw Wildfire, who might be able to find the kill. No, not going to be able to pick up that kill quite yet. Sends in a shock dart, desperate to find some damage. Takeo's able to make their way out.
That healing orb was committed already, so they don't have that much healing, but that's going to be Evanator just able to get that soul orb. Doesn't even need the Sage at that point. That's going to be the fight that Zenigma wanted, and now they've got a 5v4.
5v4 in favor of Zenigma. That slow burn process, but Boom picks up 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. There's the second kill. The damage done onto a third. No! Evanator says, see ya later. Wildfire does pick up that kill, and now Takeo has a dream to keep this alive. He only needs 3 eliminations. Only needs 2 eliminations. Oh, but it will be Wildfire who finds that crucial kill onto the Sage. 6-2. Converse finally picking up another round win.
That was almost clutchable. Able to take out the operator, but Wildfire able to pick it up, so that's going to go right back into their hands. The economy is going to be much better because of it. In Converse, this is where they have to start getting the ball rolling. That's what's so dangerous about A. The retake is so much better for the defenders there because it's so much closer up. They don't have to go nearly as far. They don't have to worry as much about sightlines. It is a little bit worse if you're an operator user there because then like you want long sightlines, but everyone else going to be in good positioning there. It's just going to be Boom who's going to put away 3 because they're hiding behind the boxes that no one cleared out.
Oh, Ricky with the operator. Jets and ops like peanut butter and jelly. Guzman will be the first to fall. That's going to be a great opportunity for Converse. Remember when I was like, Zenigma would have to lose 5 rounds in a row, but that feels crazy. Feeling a little less crazy here is that aggressive first win in the last round, and now 2 eliminations coming out already. One in favor of both teams. Converse, they've got to play it careful.
I think Converse has to win this round right here if they want any chance of tying it up.
I agree.
The economy has to keep getting destroyed. Like, Zenigma has to keep losing around so they don't have anything to spend on because they've built up quite a nice little bit of wealth credit-wise these last few rounds because they've won so many. So they should still be able to buy after this, at least a half buy maybe. Ricky, though, going to be cut off because of the wall. And they're going to use the res, so Zenigma able to use the Sage ult once again in a very good way.
Oh! Almost ended very poorly. Had Ricky been a fraction of a second faster, would have been able to find that Viper kill. But now, like you said, Zenigma, they go for that resurrection. I have to agree. It's going to be an effective one. You found the numbers advantage again at a crucial time.
Just for, is it going to tag one up? It is. That Viper so weak, ends up falling. That might be the entrance they need, but Zenigma going to commit the Empress because of that. And look at what happened there. Everyone has turned around. No one is on B.
Yeah, nobody being on B is going to be... Oh, wow. I just said B a lot there, but the case in point, it's going to be difficult moving forward here because the rotation's coming through. Blitz able to find Takeo. So the numbers have been... Oh, blink and you miss it. The round coming to a close. Enigma just dropping like flies. Converse putting a 3rd round win on the board.
And that's a really interesting play there from Zenigma. It doesn't work out at all, and I'm really confused about it, to be perfectly honest with you. Why did they push out? They had that point completely covered. I guess they were worried about giving up too much space on the back end, but you want to be playing around this yellow container anyway. You don't have to worry about where Converse is coming from. You really only have to worry about the flank there, when coming from your own spawn side, but instead they push out so far. I mean, you saw there that their Sage was completely out there in the middle of nowhere. Gets caught up by the Owl Drone. The team is able to follow up on that. And then Converse just letting their mechanical skills be on display there, able to find headshot after headshot. And That's what I was talking about. Zenigma, they can still buy, but you can see it's being whittled away little by little.
Converse, like we said, if they drop a single round, obviously, as math seems to go, Zenigma will have that round advantage at the halftime. But if Converse can tie this up at the half, I feel like they could really turn this around and take an aggressive win. Wildfire trying to do just that, finding the kill onto that opposing Sova, making it a 5v4, taking the Hunter's Fury offline as well.
Yeah, they take out the Hunter's Fury. They use their Viper's Pit here to cut off B.
Oh,
they're going to go really aggressively into this.
Oh, there's one, but a blind fire not able to find it. Pulled the trigger a little bit too early on the side of Boom. Not the trigger discipline you wanted to see, and unfortunately for Converse, they're going to lose the numbers advantage here.
They have a Viper's Pit of their own now, so they could use it. They are going to use it. There's going to be so much here. It's going to be hard, but they do lose their Jet, so it is a 3v3 still.
3v3 making an appearance. Ricky cannot land the up-close op shot, but it will be Wildfire who finds Emanator from behind there. 3v2 now. Converse, they've got the number again, but the spike's been planted. The clock is ticking. The shock dart picks up Takeo there, so now it is Guzman, this Viper, waiting to strike, but now it's going to be that slow patience. You've got to find 3 eliminations.
Time is your friend here if you're Guzman. You're just trying to sell it as long as possible. The Owl Drone, though, is going to find you out. You're able to get Wildfire. That's going to be a snake bite. It might be able to kill the person who's defusing, but no, Ricky able to find the kill. Is there enough time to get the spike defused? I believe there is, and Converse able to win a crucial round, get a little bit closer to tying things up, and they have come alive. And again, the positioning from Zenigma. Emanator playing way outside of the Viper's Pit, where you are the safest, is going to cost them another round.
Yeah, this is... There have been a couple of very unique mistakes, is how I'm going to choose to say that these players just playing a little bit of their own drum, dancing to the tune of their own drum, or however that saying may go. Either way, this has really been a feat to behold. Converse, they are no stranger to being in the losing seat and clawing their way into the winning position. Looks like they're getting ready to do that right here on Icebox.
This is the last buy that Zenigma can make, so they lose this round. It's going to have to be a light buy, and that means it's going to be almost a guaranteed draw. And look at this positioning from the defenders. They may be able to go for the full rotation.
Oh! Oh, I thought that was a collateral for a moment, but no, it was just 2 elims at the same time. However, Ricky does find 2 eliminations back-to-back there. This Jet trying to save the day, but you cannot simply fire those bullets fast enough. It's going to be another round win. And I've got to say, whether it be 7-5 or 6-6 at the half, Converse, they've put themselves back in the game.
They have, absolutely, and the economy is still good enough for Zenigma to buy a little bit. It looks like, actually, we'll see what happens here. It looks like they're going to commit their Jet to the Bladestorm and just give up the Vandal to Guzman instead, so Bladestorm can work as pretty well as a weapon because of those changes to the right click. Isn't going to be nearly as effective if you try to go for the right click, so we'll see how that goes. 2 ultimates on both sides, and Converse has a lot of momentum. I think they're forcing Zenigma in positions that they don't want to be in. I mean, that rotation through mid, we've seen it twice now. Neither time it's worked.
Yeah, the mid rotations have not been particularly in favor of Zenigma, and it looks like we're going to see that immediate 1-1 trade. Lucas gets a little greedy, looks for 2 eliminations, chooses to fall back out of that combat, or chooses not to fall back out of that combat, excuse me, so does end up getting traded. The Bladestorm, like you said, is at the ready here and in use from Zenigma's side. The lockdown, though, from Converse, great way to scare enemies off point. Just buy yourself some time.
It's really unfortunate they lose Lucas. They had the Empress online too. They could have popped it before they peaked, but instead they tried to take that duel with only what they had. As this 4-4 commences, Boom again in this great positioning. We'll see if he's cleared out this time around.
Oh, he's about to get pincered though. That's the serious issue. Emanator does find Blitz and will be able to find Boom as well. Wildfire does not have a Hunter's Fury, but the Bladestorm is ready from Ricky. Have not seen a Bladestorm kill happening quite yet on Icebox, but the spike being planted, the new timer begins. Wildfire gonna get slowed out on the high ground. Lucky thing about standing still is the slow doesn't matter.
Bladestorm has to be huge. Has to find one, and looks like they're gonna try to peek this together, but they're not gonna. It's not gonna matter. Wildfire though has a chance. Has Hunter's Fury as well. Do they commit it here?
Those 2 elims were actually huge because they didn't have Hunter's Fury, but now they do. It is online. There's the 3rd. Only 1 more. Wildfire trying to be the hero. Gonna go for the bait defuse. No. I don't know what the game plan there was. But with a Viper on the other team, touching the spike is just a death sentence.
I think there you've got to commit the Hunter's Fury, try to get some distance, long range, at least find it where they are. The Viper utility is just so good at keeping everyone at bay. It's basically the same equivalent as Killjoy Nanoswarm. You got the Snake Bite as well as the Poison Cloud. What can you really do there? There isn't really much. And it is going to be a 7-5, but Converse still very impressive at bringing it back. Now the question is, can they bring it all the way back? Now, as a reminder for those of you just joining us, Zenigma had to forfeit the first map. Technically, this is the first map out of the choice from the map ban, but if Converse wins here, this series is going to be over.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, that's just simple as that. Converse, they're one map up already due to a kind of temporary delay on the side of Zenigma. They had to forfeit the first point, so to speak. They're playing with that last-minute substitution as well. So a lot on the shoulders of Zenigma, but if Converse wants to turn this around, the pistol round is going to be the way to do that. This is really the spot where they can flip momentum entirely on its head.
Oh, and look at this positioning. The wall is going to let them get in, and this agent of Taylor Place able to get the right click, though.
That was so brave. I don't know if that was brave or reckless, but just the whole W with the right click. You got the kill. You got the trade. That's pretty worth it, honestly. You got some damage onto Ricky as well, who's down to less than 30 HP. This is a great opportunity for Zenigma. They're really utilizing these Vipers well.
Ricky knows where one is. They know that the rotation is now coming through. Doesn't even go for the trade. I think he's going to try to get a little bit closer. They're going to find 3 people depending on this angle as that spike continues to move towards A. But because of that, that actually might be the signal to go back to B.
Yeah, now this is going to be tough because Ricky's just kind of out in the open. Looks like another kill for Lucas, a 2-for-1 trade, keeping Converse in the lead just a little bit. Ricky, do somebody play the Pink Panther theme right now as Ricky is just sneaking around. A great plant there from Wildfire on B. Damage has actually been dealt out pretty aggressively. Oh, the blind fire. Ricky does find the kill, luckily enough. Gonna tuck tail and run, knowing Evenator is still at full HP. 3v1. I think Converse has got this round.
J2, if you're watching this, you gotta have that soundtrack with the Pink Panther theme song to Ricky's gameplay this round. Evenator not able to win the trade, and so many people that are weak on the side of Converse, but their magic with the rotations is going to be enough to win in that round, and Converse should finally be able to tie things up here.
Yeah, Converse 1 round away. They win the pistol round, right? So statistically speaking, they're expected to win this upcoming round as well. Like you said, this is the round they need to tie things back up. And honestly, if they tie things up, I wouldn't be surprised to see them just continue to steamroll. I feel like attack is usually where Converse really starts to shine.
Let's see if they can shine bright here. It is going to be their buy, but we have seen crazy things happen here on the light buy, on the save.
Ooh.
Lucas able to find out exactly where Guzman is. That's not where you want to be if you're a Viper.
Oh, but the Frenzy, actually gets a kill onto Boom. Not what I expected, but the Bulldog, not exactly known for its quick speeds. Ricky does find that opposing Jet on the low ground, then a bit of a 1v1 matchup. Blitz knows the flank is coming, picks up one, not ready for the second, but still finds it. Knows that Soba's going to be on the high ground. A classic to their name, a classic in a knife, that is. And Converse, I don't see how this goes wrong. I think they've got this round in the bag as well.
And might be able to pick up a weapon from that one kill that they got, but they're not in the position to get it. So yeah, it's gonna be the classic that you're stuck with. Like you said, the knife. Maybe you get a cheeky knife kill in the back, but that's gonna be a tool. You do kick out Blitz.
Oh man, I'm surprised M didn't save there. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, don't save a classic, folks. That's never worth it. But now 7-7, moving into round 15. We're basically set at a complicated 0-0 all over again. Neither team going for a full buy, it appears. Oh, no, excuse me, no. Zenigma just barely able to go for the full buy, and this is the round that Converse is statistically expecting to lose.
And this was a decision that Converse had to make. Do we make Blitz and Boom buy after they ended up falling last round? No, they're going to save, so they're going to go for a full team buy last round, which statistically, it is less of a risk, but you're also going to give the lead back to Zenigma. We'll see if they can do some damage here.
And Lucas goes to do some damage right out the gate. Evenator always just barely. It's either Evenator or Guzman right outside that fire rate. Now it's going to be, a great leer from Lucas on the high ground. First kill in favor of Zenigma. Again, this is the round they're expected to win. Ricky does find that kill, though. So now one down on both sides. Another leer from Evenator. Some great information from the Sobas as well. Boom. playing that patient long game, waiting for the kill. The spike plant coming through is crucial for Converse economy. If they plant the spike, that gets them those additional credits. If they win the round, of course, that gets them even more. One more elimination, but it's going to be M who finds one blink and you miss it. Holy crap, the firing squad. That is Zenigma putting down almost the entirety of Converse. Whoa!
Collateral. The spike is being diffused actively though, and even if they had won that spike was going to end up falling. Zenigma taking back the lead, but Converse doing a lot of damage on the way out. I was saying that as the round started. If they get kills here to take away from Zenigma's economy, they can, and now Converse, they can full buy. Zenigma, looks like their Jet isn't going to be able to. Everyone else should be, but they're going to have to commit to something a little bit less here, probably a Spectre.
Yeah, I would suspect to be seeing a Spectre make an appearance, at least one across the board. We see 4 Vandals and a Phantom on the side of Converse. They're going for that heavy fire rate, but I almost want to say we're going to be seeing a Blade Storm from Zenigma, but considering the Jets at 4 out of 7 right now, buying the Sheriff must have nothing to do with that.
I think it's just what they feel comfortable committing to this round. Again, like, because they died and because they lost a few members, their buy is a bit awkward. They really need to win this to stabilize, but that's not how you want to start things off.
Yeah, not a great fight opener. Definitely not the way you want to begin an engagement like this. And look at B, it's wide open right now. There is nobody to engage, but as I say that the Sova and the Sage are going to be making an appearance with that long distance slow from Takeo as well. The Owl Drone gives away the Sova location, a little bit of spray damage, and there's that first kill onto Takeo. You've got the extra heal, might be able to find another one as Boom takes out Evenator on the opposing point. All that damage, all that aggression on B was just a red herring as Converse is going to make their way into A.
And this feels like the exact opposite of what Converse did to them. They force spot here, and it's going to cost them. They do lose 2 to the Jet, but it's not enough as the scream comes through from Septilence. The
No, that was somebody
over.
else. That was someone else. I don't know who that was.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was someone else in the background. No worries. But, I mean, that was blink and you miss it. The firing right there from that Jet was pretty great, terrific, but not enough to win the round. And because of that force spot, you see Guzman has to go for the Sheriff themselves, but they do get an Operator. So is it a worthwhile trade? Well, they'll win this round, definitely. If they lose it, though, it's going to be the lead finally going over to Converse in probably 2 rounds because they don't have anything left.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as you said, right? If they win, it's a great choice, a really good idea. But if they lose the round, they definitely just threw away a lot of credits there. And I hope I can one day use the Sheriff the way these top-level players can, because every time I use it, I miss and I lose. And speaking of losing, it looks like Zenigma is going to get ready to lose this round right now. Both duelists falling incredibly early. The spike plant already coming through, and 3v5 Zenigma forced into the retake.
They committed the Empress as well and immediately got shut down. Actually, is able to get one, but Guzman is not. Can the Siege do it? Can they carry? No, they cannot. And that buy is going to be costly in so many different ways. Septilence now, they're going to be finding themselves finally at a deficit. It's going to have to be a light buy. We'll see if they force once again. It's going to be, looks like at least one Marshal that's coming out. Now, Converse, they're giving the Operator over to Ricky for free, and you and I, we know how this works out. Ricky is just a mad lad with this weapon.
Absolutely. A certified mad lad with this weapon, like you said. Ricky has been absolutely insane with the Operator, has plenty of credits if this plan does go awry. I think this is going to be, like you said, because Converse won that last round, Zenigma cannot full buy. I suspect Converse probably going to take this next round in stride as well.
You can find trades here, it's worthwhile, but you gotta not be scared to take these engagements. And, that's just so lucky for Lucas. Able to find 2! What is this?
Oh, that was clean as a whistle. That was incredible there. Lucas, just amazing reaction time blitz with that wallbang kill onto M as well. Just barely peeking back as the Reyna is around the corner. I think she's just got a Sheriff to her name. 2 Sheriffs left here on the side of Zenigma. Cannot find that shot. Lucas found the 3rd. Might be able to pick up the 4th, but Evenator let it sneak up on this. Killjoy puts Blitz down with a single shot to the back of the head, execution style. Gets the Vandal as well. We're going to need a full-blown ace for Zenigma to tie things back up.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate because they used the Empress last round, so they have really nothing to work with. Only 1 ult orb to their name because of that kill they just got. You get a Vandal, so maybe you try to find some exit frags, but you can't even do that. Boom! Just hiding in the corner in Converse. It was looking a little bit desperate, but now it looks like they have come into full swing, shaked off the dust, shaked off the jitters. They are here to win. There are a lot of ultimates on both sides, but Zenigma, if they lose this, it's going to be dire. It's going to be the same situation they had 2 rounds ago. They lose this, their economy, again, is going to not be so great. So I think here, honestly, use your ults. Just use them.
I
It's
think so.
okay.
Yeah.
So you'll get them back if you're able to win a few more rounds.
Yeah, that's definitely something we see with a lot of teams at this level of competitive play is they are afraid to use their ultimates. We actually see that in a lot of other games, particularly one other first-person shooter that also has ultimates. Is players will hold on to them because they want to get kind of the big clippable play, right? But if you're finding one elimination, if you're finding even as much as 2 eliminations, you're making a world of difference for your team. You want to be using these ults. And on the same side of that, on the opposite side of that same coin is the Sage players in particular like to hold on to that ultimate because no moment ever feels like the right moment to use that ultimate. It's so expensive and it's so game changing. But sometimes you literally like just use it forehead. And I think we're in that scenario where these ultimates need to be making an appearance.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a pause that has come through, so we're gonna have to wait on that. I guess the question is, how do you use them? We see a lot of the time that Vipers on defense, they will just use their Vipers pick right off the get-go. They'll just go for it, cut off usually a walkway, especially B long, kind of is the way to go for it. The resurrection, we have seen it used pretty effectively, used very quickly when someone falls. So it's, that's kind of like an alt like Cypher's ult. You can't use it unless there's a dead body in front of you. So you can't really plan around using that off the get-go. I think the biggest thing is the Hunter's Fury. How do you use that here? I think you use it basically to stop a plane from coming through. We saw that on the other side already from Converse. Can Zenigma try to copy that here? We'll have to find out.
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on. Honestly, you want to use that either to prevent a spike plant from coming through or prevent a defuse from coming through. We've seen both of those 100 times, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that happening once again, but somebody's got to press Q one way or another, especially because we could have as few as 3 rounds left of the evening blitz, finding that first kill onto M, but a trade does come through from the Jet. Another kill, so that counter kill does come through, keeping the numbers in favor of a team for just a moment. 2 come through again, and all of a sudden, 10 players turns into 4, 6 eliminations in less than 20 seconds. Guzman now at the lucky number of this HP coming through here, 70 HP to boot, no armor available. Going to be a 2-2 lineup, but it will be Wildfire who finds that kill onto Guzman. I think Converse has got this one in the bag. Evenator's going to have to give us the play of a lifetime.
Evenator saying, hey, just stay alive, stay alive. I'm on the rotation, but they're just taking too long. They don't want to be caught out, but the positioning, it is good. They have the overheal, but they also are found out, so Wildfire knows exactly where they're coming from now.
Yeah, they know exactly where they are. They can predict the high ground. Now they've got the recon dart as well. Evenator's location is just clearly as day, known to all players in the lobby. Now the Lear comes out, trying to catch Wildfire. Oh! Evenator says, see you later with that 90-degree turn. Finds plenty of time to defuse as well. And what I thought was probably a guaranteed round win for Converse really falls apart in the final moments.
Wildfire peeking that. I'm not sure if they were blinded by the Lear or what happened there, but they were caught just standing there, not able to get even a shot off. And unfortunately for them, that was their win condition. It's, it's not over by any means, but that they win that round and they basically are free to the bank. They're gonna probably at least get to 12 there now. This game, once again, it's gonna be decided by a few key plays. The operator is back in the hands of Zenigma. I think that was a buy. I don't think they were able to recover anything. Their economy still is not great because so many of them lost there. Converse, they're okay if they lose one more round, but Converse, they win here, and again, it's the same situation. Just they won't have anything to buy with next round, so it's really important that they're able to win this cleanly.
Yeah, winning clean is crucial, to say the very least, especially on the side of Zenigma, like you kind of mentioned a little bit already, is they're getting to the point where you always like to say, this isn't where you press the panic button. This isn't where you kind of throw everything away, go for the full buys, force anything. But I think if Converse wins 1 or 2 more, that's really when Zenigma's going to have to worry. Right now, however, we talked about winning things cleanly. Looks like Zenigma's ready to do just that.
This Fury's going to be thrown in. Isn't going to find anything, but it doesn't matter. There's so few people left. It's only Wildfire once more, and they cannot get it done. That is disaster for Converse. They can still buy, but they get so little out of Zenigma 4 at this time. 4 still alive, and they're looking just to find guns right now. They're taking their sweet time.
I mean, that Hunter's Fury was weird. The round win is great, but that Hunter's Fury, there was no reason to use that ultimate there. And we talked about just press Q like it's fine, but when you're up 4-1, that was a waste of an ultimate. Probably one they're going to want back.
So I'm actually going to play devil's advocate a little bit here because I get why they went for it. They were trying to use it as a zoning ultimate. I don't think they were trying to find any damage. I think they were trying to force Converse's alive players to kind of dance uncomfortably.
There was only 1 left.
I think there was 2 at that point, maybe. In my memory, at 25, I'm just so old. It's not, it's not as good as it
you're
used
elderly,
to be.
bro.
But, I think the point is just force them out of position, and they're able to do that. They're able to get the follow-up, so that ultimate, they still have 3 more to use.
That's true. That's true. You know, if it was the only ultimate, I'd really be beating it up. But you're absolutely right. They have 3 more. One of them being that, like I said, that game-changing resurrection that is available. But we've got to look at Converse. They've got 5 ultimates at the ready. Hunter's Fury finally making an appearance, and Wildfire, I don't think even got got 1 hit in there. So was able to get a little bit of damage in and out. And now 10-10, Evanator with that opening kill onto Ricky. One duelist taking out another. This could be a crucial opportunity for Zenigma to take the lead once again. Guzman turns fast enough, believe it or not, to find Lucas taking a little bit of damage in the process. All of a sudden, Converse, I mean, is this going to be 2 flawless in a row? Or the last one wasn't flawless, sorry.
That's a kill, but they still have the resurrection, so does Zenigma try to force it as they're going to throw the cloud smoke up to get rid of that recon bolt. So they're not going to make it just yet. They're going to use the lockdown on defense, and that's the Jet! Never tearing your way away from her when she has an operator.
I don't know. Did Boom not know there was an operator? That felt like a very aggressive misplay coming out from Boom, in just the sense of walking across a line of sight that a Jet is holding with an operator. There were teammates that saw the Jet already. I don't know if that was a lack of communication or whatnot, but Converse, you know, lack of communication or not, they're hitting their shots when they matter most. The resurrection coming through from Takeo makes a whole bunch of sense. Gives you that numbers advantage once again. You're going to try to win the round and put yourselves in the lead. There's going to be a great kill. The resurrection already worth it. Finding one, looking to find another, and they certainly will. That is going to be 3 left alive. More than enough time to defuse. Zenigma taking the lead.
And they should be able to win this next round pretty handily as well. The economy from Converse should not be good. Converse, they know what's at stake. They know that they really cannot try to force buy here. So this will be a save. We'll see what weapons they come out with. Just as I say that, actually, it does not look like they're going to do that. They are going to actually force buy here. So this is really interesting because Zenigma wins this, and this game is guaranteed to be over unless Converse can come up with some really great stuff on a thrifty buy. But it looks like they really are just trying to win it out here. They don't want Zenigma to get to 12 rounds just yet. They don't even have that overtime scenario, but it's looking more likely than ever, considering how Zenigma has been able to kind of stabilize on this defense, and their economy is once again good.
Yeah, the economy is going to be, like you said, it's stable. It's definitely something they can work with. And Converse, I feel like if you're going to use your ultimates, now's the time. You want to prevent that possible overtime from happening. You want to sweep 3 in a row. But yeah, okay, there's the Viper's Pit. So a great opener, some great engagement coming through already. Blitz going for an early spike plant, guaranteed credits for the next round. I feel like if Converse loses this one, you said this already, but I feel like if they lose this one, we can pretty much kiss the next one goodbye as well.
Yeah, they lose this, and it is game over. They already lose Lucas, and this is already looking bad. They take out the Sage. No, they cannot. It's a 2-for-1 trade. The Viper's Pit is still up.
Guzman's crit, though. Like, Guzman is a bullet from death, and Boom might be able to find that out. Picks up 1. Evanator goes down. M does find that blind fire onto Boom in the smoke, and the op from that Jet cannot pick it up yet. M is able to find that kill. Blitz finding a kill of their own. 1-to-1 trade. The defuse. You get halfway there, but the spike may explode. This could be crucial. There it is! Blitz keeps it alive for Converse, tying things back up 11-11.
Blitz there isn't to be able to live too. The spike goes off, but the
scary.
round expires. Yeah, that was, you're just staring Jeff in the face right there, but they're able to hold on for all that they've got. Doesn't even matter if they make it or not. All right, I'm gonna stop, but it is interesting now from Zenigma because some can buy, some cannot. They're going to force an operator here, but Evanator has to go for a Guardian. So all of a sudden, Converse, again, has thrown Kind of the Fortune into their corner. Can they capitalize? Can they finish things off? We've seen now a few times where they've been able to kind of finish things off. They have not been able to actually capitalize.
Yeah, this is going to be around that time where somebody in chat is saying something along the lines of Converse is just making it interesting, as people always like to say about the teams they are rooting for. And Ricky able to find such a crucial kill onto Zenigma already. This is going to be great. They've got the numbers advantage. They want to win this next round. And I think if Converse wins this one, the same thing I was going to say about Zenigma is I think Icebox is basically over at that point.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I completely agree with you. And, oh, that's an interesting dash. Wildfire, I think they know or probably have a suspicion that there's probably an operator online, so they're not even to worry about that.
Oh,
Wildfire does end up falling.
The Bulldog able to find a Wildfire, so that ties things up. Boom. Get the spike plant with like 3 people on site. They're just around the corner, but the spike plant's going to be crucial for the next round. You get those additional credits, and we're going to have to see if those credits make a difference at the end of the day. But if Converse wins this one, I don't think they're going to need any additional credits. I think they've got this one in the bag.
Willing to cut off their own sightline because they have the Nano Swarm there, but they're going to get run up on it. I'm not sure if they're really going to have any idea this is happening. Spike Diffuse is going to come through there, spring and praying, but no one has hit any shot. There it is. The snake bite is going to do it, but It's already halfway.
Oh, I thought it was over. No, we're back to the Reyna 1v1. We've been here before. We're going to be here again, and it's going to be Lucas who finds that crucial elimination there onto Evenator. That time ending in favor of Converse. Not something we have seen happening quite yet. Converse, they are 1 round short. They are 5 eliminations or 1 successful spike away from ending it all right here, right now.
Wow. We've seen this a few times, like you said, the Reyna 1v1. I think they're the Lucas stiff is because they have Empress online. They have a faster fire rate. They have a better idea of where their enemy is because they get that outline and just that little bit extra. Also, it helps that, you know, if their opponent was like 56 health and a
True.
Because of that, the economy is a Frankenstein buy. They're going to use everything they can, and it looks like they're seeing Hunter's Fury right off the bat.
Speaking of use everything they can, yeah, an immediate Hunter's Fury there, not able to find even a lick of damage, I believe. Speaking of damage, Evenator puts Boom in the grave. Ricky with our first successful Blade Storm kill as well. Lucas finding Emma, another Blade Storm kill from Ricky. Finally coming to life. It's going to be that non-sponsored Gamer Liquid finally making an appearance. Converse, they've got themselves up 4-2 in the final round. Ricky finds a third. Guzman, though, picks up 2 of their own with the Spectre. Nonetheless, this is going to be beyond crucial. I think if anybody's capable of a turnaround, it's going to be Guzman. Converse, they've got to play this careful.
They do, and they're playing different angles, too. This is so dangerous. They're separating the point. Poison are going to be on point to try to cut them off, try to go for the bait. He fires through, and Wildfire able to find the final kill. And this could have gone either way. Zenigma looked so good for so long, but Converse able to clutch up at the final hour. And it's really a shame we're not going to see a second map here today. I would have loved to see them play it out on Ascent, see if this could go all the way to Bind, but said unfortunately because of the rules, we're only going to get that one map. Converse, you know, I think they're shaking in their boots a little bit after that. It was cleaner, you know, near the end. Those last 2 rounds looked really nice, but there were a few times where they just were not playing at their full potential. Zenigma, they're definitely going to be a team to watch out for. I think they could easily be second in this division.
I mean, I have to agree. To go 13-11 with the reigning champions, I mean, what a way to begin the season. At the beginning of this broadcast, I even said they're going to get a rude awakening, right? And then they dragged Converse through the mud a little bit in the beginning of that. I mean, this was really a neck-and-neck brawl. I think I agree with you. Zenigma, they've got potential to be number 2, if not number 1.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to be number 1 because of that loss. It depends. I think Converse has to lose 2, and then it's head-to-head, and then it's round differential or map differential. So, you know, there's going to be some tiebreakers in there, but I definitely think top 2 is something they can get regardless if that's first or second. I think Converse, you know, I think we're going to be, you know, going a little bit more hard on them, you know, going a little bit more critical on them because they are the champions. I think they also had a little bit of a similar start last season where, you know, it was really the playoff buff that they got. Converse looked so clean in playoffs. Regular season, you know, hit or miss. They had 1 loss overall, which isn't bad, but they had some very close games in the fall, the summer split. But here in fall, starting off again a little bit closer than they'd like to for comfort, but a win is a win at the end of the day, and that title is still solely in their hands.
Yeah, a win is absolutely a win. And that, believe it or not, folks, I know 1 whole map and we're done already, but hey, at least it went to round 24. Absolutely great. We are stoked to be back here for the UPL fall season. A huge shout out to Betty and Hyper in the backline for giving you all of these beautiful graphics and observing in-game that you guys saw here tonight. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Drop a follow on the channel so you get notifications next time we go live. Follow Jag and me at our names listed below. This is actually Jag Casts on Twitter. Mine is just Septons, which is directly below us. But give us a check out. Yeah, that's insane. I didn't actually know that. Go follow Jag. Get him to 1,000. Anywho, we'll see you guys next time. Check your posture. Drink some water. Don't forget to love each other. And enjoy the rest of your night.